Usually people on rainy days lack the least motivation to go out and do something because it's obvious. You want to stay cozy. You want to sit in a house, watch a movie, eat some cookies, and just be lazy, which is okay. But what if that carried over and people don't have that motivation? People lack the motivation to better themselves. And of course, it's just a simple wording, right? Yeah, like, why don't you want to become better? Why don't you want to be the better version of yourself? And so I kind of do want to talk about my experience, but I also want to talk about how to get motivation. And I've come up with a little short segment that could help you in your future endeavors, in your future careers, in your future personal goals, whichever it could be. But motivation is the number one thing that you need. The one thing I say to everybody before we get started on this, you are the only person who can motivate yourself. You are the only person who has control of your own life. But it's hard to attain that skill. I'm going to help you a little bit to get your brain going, to get some ideas of how you can self-motivate yourself for your future. Now, this channel is not a motivational channel. It's a channel of my experience. It's a channel of whatever I want to put. We first wanted to start with the definition of motivation. Now, you're going to say, Sada, come on, dude. I know what motivation means. Yeah, right. But the definition, and I'm still going to say it, the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. Simple, right? It's a simple definition, but it's so powerful. I wanted to look up some YouTube videos that can help make you understand what motivation is, but at the same time, self-motivate. And this video talks about when you want to reach your end goal. Now, people, when they work towards their goal, they only see the light at the end of the tunnel, but forget to enjoy the experience along the way. So that way, when you reach your end goal, your dopamine levels is going to be at an all-time high, but it's going to sink super fast because you will no longer have motivation to maintain the thing that you've been working so hard to do. You've been working so hard to get. So this YouTube video explains how you can maintain the constant dopamine level of you being excited to be where you are in the moment, the present moment. So that way, when you reach your end goal, you are more appreciative because you look back and you are actually conscious of the procedure, of the process that you've been working hard for to get to this goal. Enough of me talking. Let's watch this video.
A mechanism of cultivating growth mindset involves learning to access the rewards from effort and doing. And that's hard to do because you have to engage this prefrontal component of the mesolimbic circuit. You have to tell yourself, okay, this effort is great. This effort is pleasurable, even though you might actually be in a state of physical pain from the exercise, or I can recall this from college, just feeling like I wanted to get up from my desk, but forcing myself to study, forcing myself. What you find over time is that you can start to associate a dopamine release. You can evoke dopamine release from the friction and the challenge that you happen to be in. You completely eliminate the ability to generate those circuits and the rewarding process of being able to reward friction while in effort if you are focused only on the goal that comes at the end. And what's beautiful about it is that it starts to become reflexive for all types of effort. When we focus only on the trophy, only on the grade, only on the win as the reward, you undermine that entire process. So how do you do this? You do this in those moments of the most intense friction. You tell yourself, this is very painful. And because it's painful, it will evoke an increase in dopamine release later, meaning it will increase my baseline in dopamine. But you also have to tell yourself that in that moment, you are doing it by choice and you're doing it because you love it.
Now, of course, in this video, I completely shortened it and edited it. But if you want to watch the full video of what I just showed you, the link is going to be below. But I'm going to show you other videos that can help you with motivation. And these videos are just so informational. I just wanted to get it out there to you guys because it is tough. It is tough even for me. When you're not seeing the results that you want because you want things to be done immediately and fast-paced, the get-rich-fast kind of thing. So it's kind of like a reminder to me, but to you guys. So here's another video called The Locust Rule, how to stay motivated. this one is actually pretty interesting because this one they did like an actual study of two separate groups.
A study was conducted in 1998 at Columbia University by a Professor Claudia M. Mueller. She took a large group of fifth graders and had them work on numerous puzzles by themselves. Now, these were very challenging puzzles, but regardless of how well each child did, he or she was told that they scored very well, that they did better than most of the other kids. Afterwards, half of these students were told that they scored high because they worked hard, while the other half were told that it was all because they were smart and gifted. Then they presented each student with 3 more types of puzzles to work on: easy ones, medium difficulty ones, and extremely challenging ones. And what they found was very interesting. The students who were told that they did well because they were smart spent the majority of their time on the easy puzzles. They spent almost no time on the extremely challenging puzzles and spent much less time overall trying to solve any of the puzzles, which was a sign of lower levels of motivation. And to top it all off, when asked whether or not they enjoyed the experiment, they said that it wasn't that fun for them. On the other hand, the students who were told that they did well because they worked hard spent the majority of their time focused on the harder puzzles. They also spent a lot more time overall attempting to solve any of the puzzles, which was a sign of an increase in levels of motivation. And to top it all off, after the experiment, they said that they actually enjoyed the entire experience. So what can we learn from this study? Well, there's a concept called the locus of control, which is essentially the degree to which you believe you have control over your life. The kids who were told that they did well because they were smart and gifted were led to believe in what's called an external locus of control. They were led to believe that factors outside of what they could control were the reason they did well, right? You can't control whether or not you're born smart. On the other hand, the kids who were told they did well because they worked hard started to believe in what's called an internal locus of control. They believed that it was factors they controlled that led to their outcomes.
And that is what I'm trying to tell you guys, that you have to believe that you are in control of anything that you do. If you keep blaming everything else, other factors, and not blame yourself, you are going to have a serious problem in life.
It was their hard work and their extra effort that allowed them to do well on the puzzles, right? Because how much work you put into something is something that you have complete control over.
The very last thing I want to show you, and this is from the same YouTuber, Improvement Pill. He's a really great YouTuber that just talks about how to be happy, how to stay motivated, basically positive things that you should do about yourself. And this title is The Simple Idea That Will Make You Happier. Now, the point of this video is, for one thing, you already tell yourself that you're lacking motivation. Keep thinking negative thoughts about yourself. You will eventually become the negative thought that you have been keeping in your head, and you will be living it, which is technically a form of manifestation. But if you keep thinking that you are going to achieve big things, and you see yourself achieving big things in life, then you will be manifesting and working towards, subconsciously, the goal that you wish to become. Now, there's a lot of studies into this, whether it's you have to do meditation, whether it's just disciplining yourself, and all this was mentioned in the 2 videos below. So here's the last video.
Example, let's say you believe many negative things about yourself, such as, I'm not good enough, or everyone dislikes me, or even, I make everyone's life worse. Let's then say one day, one of your peers or coworkers was to respond aggressively to one of your questions. Any updates on the project? I'm working on it. If you believe many negative things about yourself, your translator might interpret this as being your fault.
The translator is the brain, which is already explained in the beginning of the video.
That you did something wrong yet again that caused someone to get upset, when in reality, they might have just been stressed about something that was happening at home, right? Oftentimes, stress from other aspects of our lives leak into our interactions with other people. On the other hand, let's say you're someone who believes positive things about themselves, like, people enjoy talking to me, I make friends easily, I'm a high-value person. If you had these beliefs, your translator probably wouldn't interpret this situation as being your fault. Your beliefs about the world control how your translator interprets things. These interpretations often appear as thoughts in your head. So if you're someone who struggles with happiness, chances are you are being swamped by negative thoughts. thoughts that make you feel worse about things, which is why you should consider what setting your translator has been set to. What beliefs and expectations do you have about the world? If you can somehow adjust these settings, you'll start to feel better because the thoughts that appear in your mind will change. There are 3 ways you can do this. The first is to get help from someone else, an expert of the mind. Settings for your translator is through repetition. You see, the translator is not the only source of thoughts that appear in our mind. We have the ability to consciously think certain things. And if we think a certain thought enough times, we can gradually change the settings of our translator. For example, if you started a gratitude journal where you write 10 things to be grateful about every day, you would eventually teach yourself to look at things in a more positive light. The same can be done by repeating a mantra over and over again when you meditate, or even by putting post-it notes all around your workspace so that you are constantly reminded to think a certain thought. The third way to prove to yourself that a certain belief is true is to gather irrefutable proof. If you currently believe you are a lazy person who will never accomplish anything in life, you can figure out a way to accomplish something that most people consider to be difficult. One great way to do this is to hit the gym, because less than 20% of people actually manage to hit the gym consistently. So if you somehow build a habit of going, you're accomplishing more in regards to your health than 80% of people. This is definitive proof that you are not lazy. Whenever your translator interprets something through the lens of you being lazy, you can then remind yourself that this is not true because of this irrefutable proof that you've gathered. I hope this video is helpful, and besides that, guys, stay tuned.
And anyways, guys, this is actually something that I wanted to remind myself in, so I wanted to make a video about this so I could remind you as well. I mean, we all are working towards our goals. We all are working towards our future to become better, to be better mentally as well, because that is something that has been a very big topic for now years. And if you guys like this video, subscribe, share. It's a beautiful rainy day, and I honestly cannot wait to do more parkour vlogs. But in the meantime, I love also being in my room and just brewing up some motivational videos that I hope it can move you in some way. So, love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.